So hello guys and welcome back to Duke's Bench channel. So today we'll be talking about how we are going to start the A320 from cold and dark to a full startup. So today I'm going to take the A32NX from MSFS as an example, and the livery is the Air India livery. So as listed in the checklist, let's start from the cockpit pre-flight. Parking brakes on, flaps up, spoilers retracted and disarmed, weather radar off, predictive wind shear off, engine master 1 and 2 off, engine mode selectors to normal, thrust levels normal, gears down, and wipers as said off. Now let's begin with the cockpit preparation. As listed, battery 1 and 2 on, external power on if available. Now let's set up the cockpit lights while it runs through its self-test. Now that all of that is out of our way, let's go ahead and test the APU. So hold and press that button for about 3 seconds. Once that is done, let's go ahead and enable the crew supply. Let's test the CVR, which is the cockpit voice recorder. And let's align the ADIS. So first ADIS, then third, and then the second. Exterior lights, wing and nav and logo lights will be on. No smoking lights will go to auto. And the exit lights will go to armed. Let's test the annunciator lights and switch them to bright. Now that the annunciator lights are on, let's go to probe and window heat and turn them to auto. Let's turn the AC temperatures as required, and let's switch the eCam page to elec. Now as mentioned, we need to turn off battery 1 F2 and then turn them back on. Let's see that all the fuel pumps are switched to the off position, and let's do the engine 1 and 2 fire test. These will be performed just like the APU test, so we will be pressing and holding the button for about 3 seconds. Now let's check that the flight directors 1 and 2 are switched to on. Let's set the barometer. Press B on your keyboard if you do not know the barometer for the particular airport. Now you need to have your radio, MCDU data, RadNav setup. Now you need to request an IFR clearance. In my case, I will be requesting a VFR clearance because I have not yet set a flight plan. Now that I have my IFR clearance, let me go to the flight plan, go to departure, and set up my departure runway, which is 29 in this case. I will go ahead and insert this and go to the perf page and set up the flaps. The general takeoff flaps are 1, so I will be setting up 1 and setting up the V1, V2 and V3 speeds. Once our MCDU has been totally configured, let's go ahead and turn our APU master switch on and the APU to start, and we are gonna wait for APU avail. Now that we have APU available, let's turn off external power and let's turn on all the fuel pumps. Once that is out of the way, let's turn on our beacon lights and let's set our transponder to auto and the TCAS to standby. Once that is out of the way, let's turn off the parking brakes for our pushback and set the engine mode selector to start. Let's now start our pushback. Let's go ahead and turn on engine 2 to on. We have to watch for the N1 and N2 to go 20%. N1 and N2 should be rising, and we have to check for avail. Once the pushback is completed, let's set our parking brakes, and once it has stretched 20%, let's turn on engine 1. Now we just have to wait for the avail sign. Till then, let's turn on parking brakes to armed, auto brakes to max, and flaps to 1. Once we have avail, we can go ahead and turn engine mode selector to normal, and we can go ahead and switch APU bleed and APU master switch to off. Now we can go ahead and start our taxi. To start our taxi, let's turn off parking brakes and give the thrusters a bit of the push to start taxi. Once we have started our taxi, we need to turn on nose lights to taxi, we need to turn runway turn off lights to turn on, and strobe lights to auto. We also need to reset the rudder trim. Once we have reached the threshold, we need to stop totally, and let's go ahead and turn off our parking brakes. Let me just switch my flaps to 1. We need to switch all the exterior lights to on, nose wheel lights to take off, and landing lights to on. We can set the anti-ice and packs as required. We need to switch the TCAS to TARA, weather to on, and predictive wind shear to on. And we have to check the weather, the takeoff memo for no blue. The cabin means that we have to inform the cabin. Now we can see that it went green, and we have to test the takeoff config, which means it has to go green. Once it's all green, we can go ahead and start our takeoff. Once we are cleared for takeoff, we can go ahead and turn off our parking brakes, give it a bit of thrust so that we can start entering the runway. Once we are ready for departure, we need to go ahead and set our brakes. We need to stabilize our N1 at about 40%. Once it's totally stabilized, we can go ahead and release our parking brakes. We need to gently push down on the yoke till we reach 100 knots. Once we reach 100 knots, we can go ahead and release the pressure on our yoke, and at about our rotation speed, we can go ahead and rotate. Once we have reached somewhere around 180 knots, we can go ahead and get our flaps up, change the throttle to climb, and our auto brakes to normal. Thank you for watching my video, guys. I hope you learned something from it. Have a nice day and peace out.